Patagonia, the region for which more than 30 years has captured the attention of trout anglers, covers the southern half of Argentina, stretching nearly 1,000 miles from Neuquén province south to Tierra del Fuego. Hundreds of pristine, crystal clear rivers and lakes, teeming with wild rainbow and brown trout. And some, like the Corcovado, about 2 hours south of the small Welsh community of Esquel, even get runs of king salmon, which travel all the way from the Pacific through Chile to spawn here. This small map puts the location into perspective. Salmon may pique the curiosity and interest of some, but trout have the attention of most fly anglers who travel here to fish. And for good reason. This is world-class trout fishing in a pristine setting with little or no competition. Particularly here, since the river runs through the middle of Estancia El Palenque, far distant from any public access. Jeff Wells, a Colorado entrepreneur and real estate broker, became so enamored with the area, he and his partner Ray Heyman bought Estancia El Palenque, which has about 12 kilometers of the Corcovado within its borders, and started a fly fishing lodge and guest ranch. Then they learned to fly fish, appreciating their investment even more. Argentina is without question one of the last great frontiers of fly fishing left in a 21st century world made remarkably small by modern travel, satellite communication, and the internet. There are so few anglers here, the trout are still relatively easy to fool.
Oh, incredible, stay with me.
Even when the fish aren't rising, Jeff will almost always put on a dry fly, only switching to something below the surface as an act of desperation.
Full body on the strike, it came up. In fact, I thought it was a salmon. You know, the thing is, I want to play this one. Well, look at this guy.
Good grief.
Look at this thing come out of the
It's
water.
a beautiful fish.
Yeah. Hey, this is fun, huh?
This is great.
You know what? We had kind of a slow day today, but if we just get this one in, I think we'll be pretty happy, huh?
A big, fat brown trout.
You know, I've never seen a fish take a dry like that. The first time he took it and he was in the air, full body, with the fly in his mouth.
That high? Oh, when he took the fly?
Yeah, the first time that he took it, he was in the air like that.
If you ever, yeah, that's a brown. Big, fat brown.
He's still fighting enough that I don't want to lose him here in the...
Oh, man. Okay, you got him now. Yes!
We netted him. Okay.
Wow! Incredible!
Let's look at the colors on it.
What a fish! You watch his teeth.
It's really got it in the bone there.
Yeah.
Hey!
Is that not gorgeous? Incredible.
Here, let me check him on the net there. I just love those.
As long as the entire net.
Love those colors.
Let's see here,
Yeah.
spectacular. Just nice going.
That felt good. All right. Well, there's time for another.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
Very cool. Woo!
We, on the other hand, have no reservations about starting below the surface if we see no rises. This is just upstream from where Jeff took his fat brown on a dry fly.
Wow, Kelly.
I can't believe it. I think that had to be my second cast. Oh my gosh.
Nice one.
It fights so strong in the current.
Yeah.
Kelly hooked this on a streamer pattern I designed for her birthday a few years ago, especially for South American waters.
Oh, pretty brown.
All right, our Kelly's Princessa worked.
The Kelly's Princessa, however, has proven extremely effective throughout the world for a variety of species.
Very nice, Kelly. Did he hit it hard?
He hit it like a ton of bricks.
Wow.
I'm gonna move this out to a little deeper
Sure.
water.
Sure.
Here we go.
You know, he looks just like the one we caught.
Pretty, pretty, pretty. You okay? All right.
Congratulations.
Thank
Super.
you.
Good one. Good one.
Oh, that's great. I mean, there was no doubt that that was a strike. Just really
Pretty fish.
hard fighting fish.
The Corcovado is a beautiful piece of water beginning in Lago Vintner, a lake that stretches between Chile and Argentina. It flows for about 80 miles through Argentina before entering Chile, where its name changes to the Palena and travels another 100 miles or so to the Pacific. In late March and April, at the boca, a term used to describe either where a river begins or ends, brook trout move into the river to spawn. So it's well worth prospecting a little to see what we can entice to the fly. From this perspective, it's easy to see the drop in elevation that creates the Corcovado's robust flow. Kelly and Jeff are both using 9-foot 6-weight rods, floating lines, and 9-foot leaders tapered to 0x, which is about 8-pound test.
Here we go, here we go.
Good, Kelly.
Jeff's fly is a white Emilio's minnow, and Kelly's using, what else? Her namesake, the Princessa.
Does he feel like a big one?
Can't tell, the current's so strong.
Yeah.
It does not want to come out of the
Boy,
current.
he's bending your rod.
Wow! Here you go, Jeff.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Oh!
Woo! All right!
He's a fighter. Look at that. Oh,
Wow.
pretty.
Beautiful. Hi, I know. Brook trout.
Pretty spots on him.
They call them fontanelis down here, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you.
Look at those
I
nice
think my
colors.
fly's out.
Yeah, it's already out. It's caught in the net there. Oh, pretty, Kelly.
God. That's got to be an 18-inch brook trout.
Yeah, and it's so fat, too.
Okay.
Oh,
there we
off he went. Well, he's happy and healthy.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, congratulations. That was good.
The Boca of Lago Vintner paid off.
Good one. Such a pretty spot, too. So.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Well, I knew if I could just get a fly back beyond this rock, I'd get something out of it because it's just such a good.
Oh, yeah.
The back eddy kept holding my line well. Otherwise, my fly was flying down the river.
Yeah, no, you had this one little spot right here. We've got a couple others just like it right below us here. Let's go get some more.
I clip my forceps to my fly so I always know where it is.
The beauty of the landscape in Patagonia is extraordinary. Along its western border with Chile, The Andes reach up to heights of 10,000 feet, creating an unforgettable backdrop. At the beginning of the day, as the sun breaks over the mountains, the light can be spectacular. In El Palenque's main lodge, guests and guides are planning their campaigns on the river for the day. Jeff's partner in the ranch, Ray Heyman, also happened to be visiting while we were there, so it was a treat to have both together, since they're lifelong friends who have some great stories on one another. These guys are lucky to have found a terrific chef, Isabel. El Palenque is an original homestead by the family Arces. Wells and Heyman purchased the estancia several years ago, adding to the front of the original ranch house a modern open lodge with sweeping views of the surrounding mountains. Later, they added a lovely little cabin 100 yards or so from the main lodge, complete with fireplace, of course, a balcony guest room, and an extra long shower and tub. Behind the lodge, a quincho is nearing completion. It serves as a recreation pool room, guest lounge, and gathering area. They already have the pool table, trucked all the way from Buenos Aires. Lodge guests can return to the lodge for lunch, for a little siesta to follow. Or for clients who want to maximize fishing time, lunch is delivered to a number of picnic spots on the river.
Party music.
Get one. Right. He's still fighting pretty hard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna go. It looks like a nice one, Jim.
Oh.
Here. Oh, nice one.
Beautiful rainbow.
Oh, look at those colors right now.
That.
Sheesh. One more time around.
Okay. Got his head up.
Oh,
Nope.
he missed it.
Couldn't keep his head up.
There we go. All right. Look at that.
Wow. Fat, fat, fat. Should come right out. Yeah.
There you go.
Look at that. Beautiful color.
Off he goes.
And away he goes.
Ah, congratulations. That's a nice one. Yeah, and you caught him in some pretty fast stuff over there, didn't you?
That's spectacular.
Yeah.
There.
Pretty colors and real strong.
Yeah.
We're going to catch one here in a minute.
Along the east side of Patagonia, the Atlantic, a summer playground. However, in the fall, nearly deserted, with the exception of some migrating waterfowl and a lone flamingo dancing up a snack from the estuary. The Peninsula Valdez, about midway down Patagonia's east coast, is famous for viewing gray whales during spring and summer months. But in the fall, the most extraordinary action arrives with pods of killer whales who cruise the beaches in search of a careless sea lion, or lobos marino as they're called here. Just a short trip further down the beach, a colony of Magellan penguins who nest here each year, the largest colony outside Antarctica, we're told. Returning to the Corcovado, El Palenque, in addition to being a world-class fly fishing lodge, also offers horse trips into the mountains. There are miles of trails to summer pasture high in the hills. If you're not enamored with four-footed critters, El Palenque has four-wheelers on which you can explore or use to get to the river for fishing. This is also a working cattle ranch, so there is always something going on. Tommy, El Palenque's top hand, is moving this herd to a different pasture. On Friday afternoon and Saturday morning, during most of the season, you're likely to catch a parade of gauchos crossing the Estancia on their way down from the high country pastures to town for provisions and a Saturday night party in the local saloon.
So I'm going to fish upstream and you're going to fish downstream?
Yeah, why don't we just divide it in two? You fish all the way upstream down to the rock and hit right behind it. Now I'll go a little bit low and I'll go up to it, but I'll stay about 20 feet behind the big rock there.
It's a deal.
Give you the mother lode there.
I hope I can do it justice.
If some big black thing comes by, it looks like a submarine. It's king salmon. So
okay. I'll get out of its way.
Just give a big yelp and drop a fly behind it because some trout might be following it. Hey, good one, Kelly.
Oh my gosh!
Look at him come up. Hey.
That was a great strike.
Yeah, he hit it hard. I think it was the fish that I was going after.
Whoa.
You know, he's a big one. He's going to fight you for a while.
He's going to go right between your legs.
I know. I can see him here. He decided to go a different direction after he saw my boots.
What a fish.
Nice fish. Can you get him there?
I think I can get him, maybe.
Here you go.
Actually, get him over the slow water.
Wow, pretty one again. Yeah.
All right. They're in such good shape, you know?
Uh-huh. I had an English friend that was here a week or so ago, and instead of saying good shape, oh, they're just splendid.
There we go.
Off he went. That was a nice fish.
That was a beautiful fish.
Yeah, good one. Good for you.
That was on a royal wolf.
Uh-huh. And the royal wolves always just seem to hammer them out here. They really do. That was a pretty one. Good one. And it came up a couple times.
Patagonia history is relatively new. Not settled to any extent until the late 1800s, it was and is in many respects still a frontier. Settlers showed up here seeking a new life for a wide variety of reasons, including some less than savory characters on the run. Most notably, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, who for 4 years or so settled into life in this small cluster of cabins as ranchers near the pueblo of Cholila. This is the location on the map in relationship to Bariloche, Esquel, and Estancia El Palenque. They changed their names to Ryan and Place, registered their brand, and may have even tried the straight and narrow for a while.
Folklore has it that they were here almost 9 years. They lived kind of quietly for the first 3 or 4 years, and then after that, I think they got a little antsy and began to go through the same shenanigans that they did in the United States, and got into trouble, formed a posse, and after the posse, we really don't know what happened. Some people say that they were caught. Of course, the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid has them being captured in Bolivia, but I don't think there's any real substance to that.
That book belonged to the old general store who was here in the Estancia from 1904. Santiago Ryan was Butch Cassidy, and Henry Place, Sundance Kid. That was the fake name they use here in Patagonia.
It's also alleged that Butch Cassidy may have shot a storekeeper here named Apiwan over some sort of dispute. This is the picture of the Apiwan store, which was a center of commerce in the early 1900s. Now all that remains to mark the site is Apiwan's grave. Which coincidentally is right next to the Arroyo Pescado Spring Creek, a popular stop for visiting anglers. The Leylique Museum, which is just off the main highway between Esquel and Bariloche, is well worth the stop to gain a better understanding of the region's early history. As Patagonia's minuscule population grew, so too did the need for transportation. In the late 30s and 40s, railroads began their expansion into Patagonia on narrow gauge lines. The most famous of which is the Patagonia Express, a line that eventually ran from Esquel in the south to Ingeniero Yacubachi in the north, where one could transfer to a standard gauge train to Buenos Aires, or BA as it's known colloquially here. The line made obsolete by modern transportation still runs for the most part as a tourist train, making the 6.5-hour trip once a week and a short hop from Esquel to the Indian village of Nahuelpan Monday through Wednesday, plus Fridays and Saturdays. La Trochita, one of the more famous of the Patagonia Express engines, continues to run because of the attentive care of its dedicated crew, who begins several hours before departure in preparation. Just jockeying the cars back and forth to get everything going in the proper direction can take a half an hour. A dear friend of ours, Eleanor O'Farrell, grew up in Patagonia and spent many an hour traveling to and from school on the train.
I remember I was 10 years old because it was the first year that I went to boarding school in Buenos Aires. So we had to travel on the train, and it was an experience for us to go, and we'd go in March, and we'd leave sort of early in the morning, and then we traveled most of the day and arrived sometime at midnight. And then there we had to wait for the big train that came from Bariloche. And we changed over to the big train, and there we had our sleeping beds. We had compartments. My mother would usually go with us, and my sister, my brother, he was younger, so he still didn't go, but there was the two of us. And we'd travel on the train. And my mother, of course, as it was a long journey, it was 13 hours more or less from when we left the station. So she would always travel with food, and she'd cook on the stove. And everybody was surprised because she usually had fresh eggs. So there was eggs for breakfast, and there was hot tea and maybe toast. And so it was luxury for us to have those breakfasts. So the passengers were in charge of keeping the stove going. And well, there was people playing the guitar, or sort of, and sometimes there were chickens on the train because people used it for that sort of thing. Because there was no aeroplanes in those days, nothing came down to Patagonia. It was very, very important because all the crops, for instance, this area was excellent for wheat. It was one of the best wheat growing areas in Argentina before the province of Bahia. And so a lot of the wheat and the wool and the sheep, which this was the most important place for sheep growing and for the wool. Everything traveled on this train, so it was the most important vehicle or means of traveling. They're the same engines, the same carriages that were used in those days. Nothing has been changed. There was a first class, and the first class had leather-covered seats. I don't know if they're still, I haven't seen them recently. But in those days, I think we traveled in first class, yes. This was a second class, the wooden seats. Things come back to my mind, to my memory, and of course everybody was very surprised because we spoke English. And as children we were ashamed of speaking English in front of all these other people. There were many natives on the train, mostly natives, because the only sort of educated people were the people on the estancias. And of course, my mother insisted on us speaking English, and we didn't like the idea at all. We felt very, very embarrassed. But the experiences and the memories are wonderful. Now it has become a tourist train, and a lot of people are asking to have it running again to the stations, because some of the stations have been abandoned and the people have no way of leaving. So I was sort of wondering if the government they have a plan. There is a plan that they're going to start sort of going towards the other stations that were being abandoned.
One of the principal gateways into Patagonia is San Carlos de Bariloche, becoming so mainly because it was the end of the standard gauge railroad to Buenos Aires. On the eastern shore of Lago Nahuel Huapi, Bariloche has become in the 21st century a hot summer resort for Argentines and Chilenos, plus a panoply of other foreign visitors. Settled by the Swiss, Bariloche has taken on the appearance of a small Swiss village, and of course, there's chocolate here too, with several factories making chocolate that is shipped all over the world. Nearby mountains have become popular rock climbing challenges, requiring, of course, a practice and training wall in town.
There's a lot of mountains here, and there's a lot of rock climbing areas. There's a lot of rocks, and it's very popular because close to the city there's a lot of areas, overhanging slopes, different kind of rocks in small area. It's one of the best place for trekking because there's a lot of trails and very easy to follow. There's some maps. The people can walk to the different shelters in the mountain in the summer, and in winter it's good for ski. There's a couple of ski centers, and there's other ski centers in other cities around Bariloche, and it's good for practice. The ski is very popular in winter here. And for rafting, there's a lot of mountain sport that people can do. Fishing, I don't know, a lot of, all you want. In a small area you can do a lot of things.
So too, Parapont on Cerro Alto, just a 10-minute drive from downtown and a short hop up the cable car.
It's very special. Perhaps for a lot of people it's like a dream to fly. And now it's possible. And to fly with a paraglide, you don't have sound and you don't have vibrations. It's very smooth to fly like a bird. And perhaps it's the more natural way to fly. It's my passion and it's also my work. I work all the year flying with passengers, and we prepare the passenger with the clothes, the harness, the helmet, the gloves, and in 1 minute we give the instructions to take off. Once in the air you are sitting, your arms are free, so you can take photos or you can film in the air. If the passenger likes to drive, it's possible to do that. Also, I give course to the pupils. You can be learning all your life, but a beginner's course, you need about 15 days. Each flight is different because sometimes you can fly at the same level of the mountain and sometimes you can go to 3,000 meters, so it's very different. Also the clouds change and the lights change, but when you are high you can see the volcanoes in Chile, Osorno, Puyehue. It's always different. Sometimes you fly with condors. They are very curious, so they come close to you.
Mount Tronador, a dormant volcano, is another popular tourist destination near Bariloche. Tronador is an impressive sight right on the Chilean border, with glaciers capping its thorny 11,000-foot peaks year-round. During summer, the glaciers are constantly in a state of change, calving and melting into torrents. Tronador means the thunder, which comes probably from all the thundering ice that is cascading from its 7 hanging glaciers all summer long. Several thousand tourists visit the glacier each year. In Argentina, there are more than 30 volcanoes, several of which are still active. Cascades Alerces, or Alerces Falls, is near and an easy reach during a trip to Tronador. The Rio Manso snakes its way through an ancient Alerces forest before cascading to a small lagoon, providing a pleasant diversion from the tour up Tronador. Similar to redwoods, Alerces is an ancient tree with some over 1,000 years old. Tourism is an extremely important element of Patagonia's economy, and fly fishing contributes significant foreign exchange to the region. Over 7,000 North Americans visit Patagonia each year to fly fish, contributing to the economy over $3.5 million just in one province alone.
There we go! Wow. I'm not sure I still have him. He may have knocked me off on a limb. Wow. Boy, I thought I lost it. Oh, it's a pretty fish getting out of the current.
Nice fish, Kelly. Wow.
Woo! Now
Good
it
size.
bites. All right, pretty brown. I thought it had wrapped me down on something on the bottom. Scared me too.
What you got there?
I have a beautiful brown.
Ooh, that is nice. Look how fat it is. That is splendid. Ooh, that is gorgeous.
Isn't that pretty?
Nice one. Did he hit it hard?
Yeah, it hit it really hard, but then I thought I felt the vibration on the line.
Oh, what a pretty fish. Boy, that made the morning.
That was
Congratulations.
great, thank you.
Congratulations. That made the morning. Good
All
fish.
right.
What did he hit?
He hit a Kelly's Princessa.
Oh,
I'd become discouraged with the dry fly.
no, that's
I decided
okay.
to get serious.
No, they've been fishing hard today, so let's just to get the action. I think it'll change our luck here this morning. So. I've had a lot of little ones, but nothing really
Yeah,
big. I think there's one waiting for me, but that one was nice.
that was beautiful.
That's the second best we've seen.
I had worked this whole run with a dry fly from top to bottom and didn't turn anything.
Nothing, not even a looker.
No, and I'd thrown a dropper on and nothing was working. So then I got my Kelly's Princessa.
Well, that's kind of the process we have to go through, I guess. But gal, what a beautiful fish.
Estancias are in many cases able to operate the rest of their ranching business because of their tourism income. Practically all foreign flights arrive and depart Argentina through Buenos Aires, which is a vibrant city, described by many as the Paris of South America. Buenos Aires is worth a couple of days of your time, and hitting it on a Sunday is an absolute must, since that's the day for street fairs. La Boca is the colorful waterfront neighborhood populated by a variety of artists. San Telmo, the Antique and Tango district, is by far the largest fair with one corner booked exclusively for musicians and dancers. On this particular Sunday, one of Argentina's most extraordinary musicians is spending time here entertaining. Gustavo Margulies is 1/3 of the Trio Gótico, and when he's not on stage or in the recording studio, takes great delight performing in San Telmo. His music is exquisite, and the pleasure he enjoys performing is obvious. Everything under the sun is for sale here, with an emphasis on antiques, of course. At night, restaurants open late, about 9, with the proper hour for cenar, or dinner, at 10:30 or later. Tango clubs, like El Carandí, are popular entertainment every night, but particularly on the weekends. Catering to an equal mix of tourists and residents of Buenos Aires, which are called porteños. If the shows inspire you to try some of the steps yourself, San Telmo's Milongas, huge dance halls, play well into the wee hours of the morning. Few places in the world have the depth and diversity of outdoor recreation and beauty that is found here in Argentina. Culturally interesting and gastronomically diverse, this country will surely capture your heart and soul.